Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Player's Edge. As you can see, we're down another one tonight. Terry is the one who scratched off to some fun with the misses, as he well deserved, hitting the pick four today at Belmont. Today, you can see we have our guest today is Jockey Victor Carrasco. Victor, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic, thank you. And as usual, we have Swiss Army Sean. Sean, what's up tonight, my man?
Hey, everything's good. Hey, Victor, how are you?
I'm good. Army, how are you?
How I asked the question. You're at Laurel a lot, and you're at Penn National a lot. You're at Delaware. You're at all kinds of. What's your advantages and disadvantages, and likes and dislikes of all the tracks?
Well, I pretty much like every track. As long as you're riding a live horse, there's no preference. But yeah, but there's always nice, to have more, opportunities all over the racetracks, and like I always said, if you get strike out in one track, you always got a chance to go somewhere else and make some money. But yeah, but like I said, as long as you on a live horse and sometimes make sure the trip is worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And your Twitter, I respect your Twitter and how positive you are about the sport and everything else. Is very good for the sport.
Yeah, I have some followers, and sometimes we don't agree with some things, and sometimes we agree with some others, But yeah, but it's fun. It's always good to exchange words with some fans. Sometimes they are not very positive, but it is nice. It is nice.
You can send all the negative ones to me. I'll take care of them, Victor. And then we have missed again, Tom. He's doing his best Genesis impression there, but he missed in the last leg of a Keeneland pick four today. Should have watched the show with Terry and I this morning. He would have had to pick four at Belmont instead. How are you tonight, Tom?
I'm doing pretty good. Victor, what was it like going to jockey school in Puerto Rico? And what did you feel like you got out of that to propel you to where you are today?
Well, for those that doesn't know, I grew up in a family of trainers. My uncle, he trained horses in Delaware Park, right now. And my grandfather used to be a trainer back home, but he retired. I grew up, like I said, in a family of trainers, and I spent my young days in the backside back home, and then I was the skinny and short guy of the family, and I feel like I wanted to do something different. So I was like, oh, let me go to the jockey school and trying to be a jockey. So I went over, and 2 years, and it was great. It is amazing the way everything they teach the students. Like, you, first of all, you start like as a hard walker and as a groom, taking care of a horse in the jockey school, and then you go step by steps. They tell you how to ride a horse without saddle. They way too many things, like it, I wish you guys can go back home and witness that for at least for a day, and the way they teach the students, and it is amazing. It is amazing, and man, they make sure that you're ready before they give you that jockey license, because they want to make sure that you don't put your life in danger and you don't put nobody else's life in a risk. So yeah, so the first year we are like galloping in like inner track at the racetrack back home, and you got, of course, all the trainers watching you from the bigger track, and they paying attention to who looks the best and this and that. And then the second year, you start like communicating with the trainers, and you start creating relationships with some of them, and you start galloping and working horses for the trainers. And we have, I believe it's 20 practice races for the apprentice, 10 in the morning and the other 10 in the morning and the other 10 are in the afternoon. and we are, like I say, you are like your own agent. You have to go in the backside and also your own horse for the race, for the practice race. It's not like, of course, in the jockey school we have like 10 retired horses that we used to learn for galloping and stuff. But once you're going into the races, you really want to find a horse that is actually running in races. So you got a chance,
Mhm.
because you want to be like, the best horse that you could possibly find. But it's great. It's a great experience. And if any of you guys have a child that wants to be a jockey, I recommend you to send it back home.
Mm.
And I promise you, and it's free. It's also free, so it is great. It is great.
Maybe I'll take off 140 and head on back there.
Yeah, you have to be the first year you have to be 102 pounds.
Whoa.
And the second year you have to be no more than 106.
Yeah, I think the next time I weigh 102 or 106, I'll be in the ground for sure. There's no chance. Hey, so I might not be able to head down to Puerto Rico and learn how to ride a horse at the school because 102 is way. That's my left leg. But quick question for you. You could teach me something tonight, though. Laurel Park and Pimlico, but really more so Laurel. As a handicapper, I find those tracks to be the most difficult for me. From your perspective as a jockey, what am I looking for? I've heard Laurel tight turns, got to have speed horses. They got to be able to take the turn. From your perspective as a person who's ridden there a lot, what should handicappers be looking for from a horse to say, this one has a shot to run well at Laurel?
Well, in my opinion, as a rider, and I've been around these guys for a few years, and I do my homework. And what can I say? Well, so on the turf, it happens, but it's weird to see a horse like, especially sprinting, to make a whole lot of ground. In my opinion, I pretty much, I like to be like forwardly placed or mid pack. Because, like I say, you gotta be much the best to come from way, way, way behind. Unless they go in 20, that doesn't happen here too often. Or if they go 21 and 43, we're hoping that they stop on the front end. And that's my kind of thought on going sprinting on the turf. Going long, pretty much I would say that it's even, and on the dirt, it changed. I can say talking about last Sunday last week, out of 9 races, 7 were on the dirt, and every horse that 7 races, all 7 were horses that won on the lead. Like nobody make any ground. Everybody was like, whoever was on the lead never stopped. I was on a horse that I thought that I was very, very live for Trombera, and I'm sitting 4, and I feel like I was in a perfect spot. But same thing, the horse who was on the lead finished first, the horse who was second finished second, the horse who was third finished third, and I finished 4. Like nobody was making any kind of ground. Yeah, so like I said, it changed. It really changed. And like I said, I've been around these guys for so much, for so long, that I studied jockeys as well. I know pretty much which jockey is gonna come off the fence. I know which jockey is pretty much is very aggressive. I know which jockey is very patient. So I have an idea of pretty much how most of the guys ride. And of course, I trying to my best to handicap the races the day before, or so whenever I go out there, I listen to what the trainer has to say. But that's the plan A. But I also have my plan B, because sometimes they want you on the lead, the horse stumble, and you don't look at your program, you have no idea what's gonna happen. So so pretty much that's what I do.
What about on Saturday now? Usually on special race days, the tracks are a little bit more souped up. Do you ride the horse a little different, or you just ride your game plan with the horse and it is what it is?
Yeah, usually in stake races on the dirt. On the dirt, the track is pretty fast. You know, you can see. Well, I can see the tractors like the way they work at the track, and I like to jog a lot. So before races, I go to the track and I run. You know, to see, just take a look at the tractors. You know, to see what they're doing in the inside. And yeah, I'm pretty much. I mean, we're gonna see it on Saturday. You're gonna see on the dirt. I'm sure we're gonna see going 7 8. We're gonna see Hello Beautiful probably going in 21 and 44. You know, because the track is gonna be so fast, and she's a fast filly. You know, so and on the turf, I think it's gonna be pretty much the same. We haven't got any rain. I don't think they put in any water because of the weather. You know, it's starting to get a little cold in the mornings. So, so yeah. So I think like I said, the track is gonna be fast on the dirt, and the turf. I'm sure it's gonna be pretty much even for everybody.
Sounds good. So look for the fast ones on dirt. So we're going to actually start in race number 4. We're going to do there's three of Victor's mounts: race 4, race 6, race 11. And in race 4, Victor, you start off with a horse by the name of Holly's Lady. You're on the rail. Tell us about Holly's Lady, and who do you think the main horses are to beat in this race?
Well, as we can see, I've been in Holy Lady 2 times on the dirt and 1 time on the turf, and she's a very honest filly. And I'm just the trainer is a great person, and she always and the owner, they always leave it up to me, and so I'm just gonna try to break and be patient, just like I did. I'm just gonna try my best to don't give her too much to do, but I also don't want to rush her, off her feet. So I'm just, like I say, make sure that we got a good break. We got the 1 hole. Make sure we say some ground into the first turn, and go from there. Make sure that we are behind the right horse. So whenever we are about to make our move, we don't get stuck behind nobody who I think is gonna start going backwards when it's time to run. So.
So who do you think is the right horse to follow?
Well, I'm looking at the form right now, and it seems like the 4 horse, it's been coming from sprinting, and it's always right there. So I feel like that one could be setting off the pace. But to be honest, yeah, I would say that Judy Blue Eyes, the number 12, she's gonna be forwardly placed, and it's a feeling like she can be like on the lead. She can be right off the pace. In my opinion, and as we know, Claudio Gonzalez is a great trainer. So I'm thinking that one, and I don't know. Like I said, the 4 horse probably is gonna be showing some speed, but and Artus Plotter, number 6, is another filly who's fast, who does her best when she's on the front end. So I'm sure she's gonna be on the lead. But yeah, so I'm saying Judy Blue Eyes and I Love You, the number 8, are the horses to beat. I Love You is another one. The last time she was like way, way behind, and she won impressive. Like you can see her numbers. She went from a 69 buyer to an 84. So I think I Love You and Judy Blue Eyes are the horses to beat.
They're the ones to beat. Sean, you like to do pace setup. How do you see the pace setting up, and who do you like?
Well, I do see actually quite a quick pace here. 5 Tipsy Chatter, 6 Artful Splatter, 7 Mincy Bandshoes, 9 Sally's Mustang, and that's not even mentioning the 2 that Victor said. The 4 and 12 could also be there. So I see somebody coming from the mid pack to being a closer. I went with number 8, I Love You, a horse for the course, winning 3 of 5 at Laurel on the turf. Has been great this year, finishing exact in 7 of 8 races, and should be about mid pack and make a nice run. I went with number 3, Maldev's Model for second here. Won his first race on the turf last time out, only in his second try. We'll be closing from deep, but that fast pace, I think it's good. And Tyler Connor's aboard there. And then third, number 11, Ampelia Esquima. Another that will be closing from deep. 10 career races on the turf and finishing the trifecta in 9 of them. this horse will be another one closing from deep. I don't know if he gets there, but I think he's in the trifecta.
Tom, this looks like a Tom race to me. Not one, oh, you're going to miss again. This looks like you're going to take a shot here, Tom.
No, not really.
Every time I guess you're going to take a shot, you don't.
Well, I took number 3 as my top choice. Maldives model. I like the Penn race last time out. Slow start, advanced, had to be steadied during the race, went inside, and then swung out and won pretty nicely. The other race on the turf was a 4th. So, I mean, it's done overall okay on the turf. The problem is I don't think this horse is going to run. I think she's going to get scratched because she's entered in a race at Penn National on Friday, a 6-furlong restricted 3-year-old race for Pennsylvania breds. So, that being said, I don't know if they're going to ship her. If they do, I think it's a good idea because I think she's better on the turf. But she's done okay on dirt. I took 4 Epic Idea as my top choice. 5 races, 2/3. Well, not great. Restricted races, it's shown a little, but one of the races got switched from the dirt to the turf, from the dirt. Won the race last year, was disqualified. Drifted out really badly. Mainly its races are at 5 and 5.5 furlongs, and I couldn't figure out why, because it won a 1.125 mile race. But I also looked what the trainer pattern was from last year and this year. He used a 5.5 furlong turf race to prep her for this race. So that same pattern may be falling in, and she may be ready for a nice run.
Ready to repeat history.
Yeah. If she doesn't drift out. If 14 draws in, which I think it's going to, I picked that as my next one. Awesome Jazz. Obviously needs a scratch to get in, but as I said, my top choice has got a good chance of scratching. 14 starts in the turf. It's got 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 4/3, so it knows how to get some money. One last out 5.5 furlongs, even though it had a 4th really poor start. It was 12th coming out of the gate and just blew him away, winning by a 1/2 length. She's been in that mid optional claimer level of 25 to 30K, 32K. I think she's within this type of field. I think they're just going to take a chance. And if they can draw in, she's got to get position early because she's going to be on the outside. And if she's going to be dead on the outside, if she doesn't get over and get somewhere where she can race. I took 8. I Love You, top record, 8 starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds. Can't complain about that. Good claim. They got her for 16K. Nice big win last time out. Victor already alluded to that. And let's face it, she hasn't been on the money since the claim.
No. It's run well. That's my top pick. I Love You. And I hope I'm saying that to the horse when the race is all over for me. Smart for sure. And then after I Love You, I have Artful Splatter, the 6 horse. Artful Splatter missed by a head in her last race, but you look at those internal fractions, you look at those internal speed numbers, they both went fractions went down, speed numbers went up. Hit my own self in the head there, not a good idea. But I expect the horse will improve in this race. A lot of times when you see that kind of fractional improvement, you see the improvement on the track, moving from 4th at the second call to 1st at the second call. And then on top of that, you see the faster fractions. That's usually a pretty good sign that the horse is going to respond. I like number 7, Misty's Banshee. One of my favorite angles on a horse that's making the first time on grass is when the horse runs well on mud or on the all-weather track. And Misty's Banshee won on mud last time. Huge improvement in the speed figures. So maybe the muddy track means she likes the turf. And then finally, I like Epic Idea with you as well, Tom, as my 4th choice. Got Judy Blue Eyes in case somebody scratches, or the 15 Good Life Cider if that one happens to get in.
Before we go on to the next race, Maldives model is definitely running Saturday, right from Tyler Connor. Aaron McClellan is Tyler Connor's stepmom, so he knows the answer, so he'll be there.
100%. So breaking news right there. Where else can you get that on a Thursday night with some guys hanging out in their basement?
Important to know that.
Absolutely, 100% for sure. So now we're going to move off to race number 6, Victor, and that is the Maryland Million Turf Sprint. You're on the 5 horse here, right? I think if I remember correctly, and trying to remember at my age can be difficult. And that's The Sky's Not Falling.
Not falling.
What do you like about that horse?
I really like him. I was surprised when I see the morning line and I saw him that he was 5-1. And to be honest, I was thinking that he will be like 5-2 or 2-1 or something like that. This horse win 3 times, and all 3 times he won with me, and he's very honest. He's training well. He's working awesome, and it seems like every time he gets some times between races, he does well. And like I said, I saw him this morning galloping at Fir Hill, and he looks like $1 million. So I feel like, other than if Cornmaker gets to run, of course he will be my first show. I mean, my best chance. But if he doesn't get to run, I think It's Kind of Falling should be. He looks like he's my best shot of the day. He's, like I say, he's training awesome, and I mean, if he repeats his last race, I think he's gonna be right there.
Yeah, you've done pretty well with him on the horse. You won last time out with the horse, right? And then before that, you were second, and then you had a win. So the horse has performed. It seems like it responds well to you. Why do you think that is?
Well, I know the horse since he was 2 years old. 2-year-old. I worked the horse before, many times before he ran the first time. Trombetta attempt to run the horse 2 times before he get loose in the post parade. One time at, I think he got loose at Belmont, I believe, with Vargas, and then I get to ride him, and I win on the first time out. But I don't know. I know the horse, and like I said, every time the horse is gonna work, they call me to get on him, and I don't know. I feel like there's a connection between the horse and myself, and like I said, I look at the program, I handicap my race, and I try to follow the right horse, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. So we're hoping that Saturday we in the right spot. Whenever it's time to go, we move forward and we can get the job done.
So you thought you were going to be 5-2. Who else in this race do you think is? Who do you think you got to beat?
I think the horse to beat is Toledo's horse. To be honest, well, he's 7-5. I'm looking at the odds now. Yeah, I think the 9 horse, Grateful Bread. He's a nice horse, and he beat me at Colonial already when I was second. I get in some traffic at Colonial that day, but he's a nice horse, and he got the outside post, and he can either be on front, he can stock the pace. I feel like he's the horse to beat, to be honest.
I agree. I think that looks like the horse on paper to beat. So that's the one we want to beat, Tom. Who are you going to beat Grateful Bread with?
I took Victor's horse. Sky Not Falling. I liked the win last time out in the restricted allowance race. Ran a 5th with some issues, but has done well in the state bred races overall. Good turf record, 7 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 1 third. And 1 for 1 at Laurel, which is based on the last race. And I really think this is a good spot for that horse to repeat. Now I stepped out a little. Number 3.
Here we go. Tom finally being Tom.
Number 3, Showtime Cat. Won last on the dirt at Charlestown. It's been okay on the turf. It's got 2 runs, a 1 second and 1 third. But most of it, many of its races are those little 4.5 furlong jobs at Charlestown.
Yeah, Charlestown. Yeah.
So that's always, those are always an adventure for me to bet. It's been running in restricted and open races, and out of its last 10 races, it finished in the top 4 every single race. So it's a very consistent type horse, it looks like. And why not try the turf again? I don't blame him. I think this is a good spot for it. I did take number 8, Rock the Boat. I think has had some nice start to his career. 3 starts, 2 wins, and a third. It was off slow in the last race and won anyways. The race before it was wide, at 5 wide at one point, and still finished third, but the trip was not great. It started out in a maiden claimer and moved itself right into the restricted allowance races after its first race. So that's always nice to see that they now know they got something.
Mhm.
And, it could be a price, but I don't know. It's hard to say.
And Sean, what about you?
So I'm going with the favorite, number 9, Grateful Bread. I think it could be the best horse in the race, and also I think it's got a huge pace advantage here. I don't see much other speed in here. Maybe the 3 coming off the 4.5 furlong races. Other than that, I think the 9 pretty much gets the lead and could go all the way around.
How often can you say that going to 5.5 furlongs is stretching out for a horse?
Not all.
Number 9, 4 for 8, lifetime on turf. Only 1 of 4 at Laurel. And then I did take Victor's horse for second, and I really wanted to make him my top choice, but just the pace is what led me to the 9. Victor's been on this horse 6 times, and the horse has finished in the exact in 5 of those, like you guys talked about. 1 is last race at Laurel. And then third, I went with the least experienced horse in the race, and Tom pretty much said why. Number 8, Rock the Boat. Could have the most potential in this field and had horrible trips so far and won 2 of the 3. So gets a clean trip, then be really dangerous.
Yeah, I'm going to give Victor the advantage here because, one, the horse that you mentioned, Sean, the Grateful Bread, loves the distance for sure, has run really well at these short races, but he's run across the track 4 times, I think, and has a win, right? And nothing else,
Yep.
if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So to me, and as I asked right away from Victor about Laurel, seems to be Laurel is kind of a, for lack of a better word, quirky track that sometimes some horses don't fit at Laurel, and it doesn't look to me as good as Grateful Bread is, that it's a good fit for this track, despite being a good fit for the distance. So I think Victor's going to be in the right spot and be able to run down all these horses late. And as we mentioned before, the horse has responded well. And I think the horse he's going to pass to get the win is Grateful Bread. And then I agree with you guys. I have the 8 horse, Rock the Boat, as my third choice. The horse has never really run a bad race, and I expect you'll see another good race. Last time out, ran the same race it pretty much did the race before, but improved those speed figures and its final time. I like to see that. And finally, my last horse is number 6, So Street. You have Jamie Ness and Jaime Rodriguez. You can't ever bet against that combination. That's a pretty good jockey trainer combination. I think you'd all agree with that. Seems like Jamie wins all those races over there all the time. Every time I look up, he's in the winner's circle. You think he stamps the back of the checks, or does he sign them still?
No, probably stamps.
Yeah. He gets so many of them for sure. All right, the last light race we're going to cover is the Maryland Millions Classic Stakes. It's a $150,000 race. This is a race that Victor alluded to before. It's Cordmaker is in there. And we were talking a little bit about the race before coming on the show. And we were asking Victor if the horse is going to scratch in. And he was thinking that it's probably not going to happen because maybe some others don't want it to scratch in because they know if it does, Victor's going to be signing the winner's check.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said before, yeah. Well, if we're looking at the whole field numbers, I mean, Cormac has the best numbers by far. He's been running against tougher competition, and I feel like he's the best. He's the best horse in the race. And like I say, we got the one horse who who's been getting before 7,000 and 8,000, and who else? I think that's a horse who doesn't belong there. Then we got a few others that they haven't been running good at all. So looking at the race, looking at the horses that are in the race, I think the horse to be stopping Cat. I mean, he's a nice horse. We can see his last 3 races, his last 3 numbers, and he's been running awesome. I mean, he's been, and same thing, he's a horse who really doesn't need the lead. But, but right now he's the best horse and the only horse who can try to be in front of Topping Cat could be Ain't the Beer Cold. He's a horse that Angel Cruz know him better than anybody. And he's a horse who loves to fight, who loves the front end. and I'm sure Angel Cruz is gonna be very aggressive with it to get to the lead. But
Mm-hmm.
still, I don't think it makes any difference. I think the horse to beat is Tapping Cat.
Tapping Cat. Sean, do you think Tapping Cat's the horse to beat? I do see that Angel, when he did ride, Ain't That Beer Cold, did get him out to the front. So you like to do the pace stuff. Is that who you see in the front, Sean?
Yeah, I don't see much pace in here at all. So I think Tapping Cat gets out to an easy lead and will have a good chance to win the fourth straight race. You see the previous three. I mean, last one he broke off second, but then got the lead pretty quick. So if he gets an uncontested lead, special race day where it's going to favor speed, he's going to be tough to beat. Went number 6, Dream Big Dreams. Loves Laurel, winning 2 of 3 races with a second. If it wasn't for the lack of pace in here, I might have put him on top. Trainer Brittany Russell hits at 35%. And then I went Cordmaker for the third pick. If he draws in, obviously it's going to be tough. It will also help the price of the 8, Tapping Cat, if the 9 draws in. If not, the 8's going to be a real low favorite.
Yeah, I feel like if Victor draws in, he's probably going to win, and he'll be the favorite. How about you, Tom? Do you agree with that assessment, or do you have something else in mind?
I have something else in mind.
Oh, you're finally going to make me. You're finally going to go big on me.
Well, I don't know about that, but number 5, Ain't the Beer Cold. That's my top choice.
Is that because it's because I know some people who take horses if they have the alcohol in the name. I won't mention who they are, Triple Clowns, but is that your angle here too?
No, I like the name, but that wasn't my angle.
All right.
I threw out the first 2 races of the year, and I'll tell you why. Because the horse does its better running around 2 turns, and it's proved that. It's got won the sapling when it was a 2-year-old when it pulled up. Okay, I'll throw that race out. That was at Monmouth. But the other 2 races, it really did very nicely. And the thing that made me catch my eye on this horse was the 47 and Handley work. It's never worked that fast of the works that are listed. And that to me says two turns, done nothing. Let's get a price. And I think it's got a great shot in here. I agree with the number 9 Cordmaker. I'm going to throw McElmore Avenue in there too. I'm going to throw Closer Look and Always Mining. I think any of those horses, if they draw in, will have a chance. I just couldn't really say that they're out. And if any one of them draw in, especially Cordmaker will be even money.
More or less.
Yeah, I went with 6 Dream Big Dreams. Dueled really hard last time on the end and won at the end. I tossed his turf race at Saratoga. That was an experiment that didn't work out too well. It's 9 starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds, and 1/3. Yeah, I like that. And at Laurel, it has 3 starts, 2 wins, and 1 second. Mid-pack, I think it's where it sits. It really just depends if Sean's pace actually runs a pace, or if it's if they're going to run the end of the race rather than the middle of the entire race. So we'll have to see what happens there. And Tapping Cat, yeah, it's the favorite. We've already kind of covered all that. It's probably the horse to beat in this race, unless Cordmaker draws in.
I agree. It's the horse to beat unless Cordmaker draws in. And if it does draw in, I think the race could go very much to form. But if it doesn't, if Cordmaker doesn't draw in, I do think Tapping Cat's. It's going to be hard to beat. She posted her top last race. I mean, when you look at that last race pace figure, that last race late pace figure, too many L's and P's in a row for me. But it just smoked anything else that the horse has done in the last 10. I like Dream Big Dreams. The horse seems to be a horse for the course. Has 2 wins in a second at Laurel, and you run it anywhere else. It has 1 win in 6 tries. Number 3, the Torch of Truth, has finished in the money 12 out of 14. So that's another. You can't. I have a hard time passing on horses that seem to have good form at particular tracks for whatever reason. That horse fits that bill. And then finally, for me, my last horse is the 2-horse Prendimi. It's a horse that improved their fractions last time out. You see that, and you see those mid-pace figures on the rise as well. Many times you see faster fractions, higher mid and early pace numbers. That's a sign to me that this horse is starting to round into form, but they'll all be beat if Victor can find his way into this race. So we all have our fingers crossed for you, Victor, because many times when we have jockeys as guests, the next time out, they have very big days, at least the days that we're talking about. So
I hope so.
Fingers crossed that we can do that for you, my friend.
I hope so.
Yes, that's the least we can do for you since you came on the show for us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So Sean mentioned earlier that you're a fun read on Twitter. You mentioned that you like to have a little back and forth with people. I told you if anybody gives you a hard time, you can send them to me. But if they want to catch up with you on Twitter, where can they do that?
Yeah, well, my Twitter accounts, I think, if I'm not wrong, I think it used to be Victor Jockey, but my Twitter account is V as Victor Carrasco 28. That's my Twitter account, and I like to have fun in there, and sometimes, like I said, exchange some words with some lovely people and with some haters too, and it's all about fun. It's all about fun.
So you having fun watching your Astros too? Carlos Carrera, you said best player?
Yeah. There's some money in the line. I bet some money against JD Acosta, and I'm hoping that my Houston get the job done tomorrow.
I think they could get the job done tomorrow. Sean's going to be all over Boston, though.
Nah, I don't know about that.
All right, Sean, if folks want to follow us, what did they do?
Facebook, Twitter, Horse Racing Radar, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel here.
Yes, indeed. If you like what you saw tonight, Victor's one wonderful guest. Give Victor a thumbs up. Never mind us, guy, but Victor. Give us a like on Facebook, and at the same time, follow us on Twitter. As always, folks, we wish you nothing but the best of luck and hope that every single one of your picks ends up in the winner's circle like Victor with Cordmaker and other horses on Saturday. And that's about it for today. Victor, once again, thanks for joining us and fantastic luck. We hope to see you in the winner's circle.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And best of luck to you guys.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow with Tom at 1:00. We'll be talking about some international racing. Right, Tom?
Absolutely.
See you then. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.